Okay, so let's start. Wait a sec. Okay. So here is Flor Baradi. So Miss Flor Baradi is a professional visual artist. She is also a jewelry maker or designer, I mean. She also designs some furnitures or some brands, and she is also a art curator. So she studied fine arts and graduated from University of Santa Tomas. Her painting is very into nature and a mix of goth. Later, malalaman natin yon. And she became a professional painter since 2006 pa. And she specializes in creating highly detailed flora and fauna illustrations and paintings. And she also participated in more than 60 group shows, and she have a lot of collections and presented it into different galleries, and one of the five chosen regional winners representing Metro Manila for the Philippine Art Awards from 2019 to 2020. All right, say hi, Miss Flor.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Miss Flor.
Um, I'm still busy, kasi I'm joining an art exhibition this November 22, Mandala exhibits. It's in UP Toyota.
Mm-mm.
So um, the things that I'm going to discuss this afternoon are my personal experiences. So um, I hope you could take something from it. And if the writers have a writer's block, uh, artists also have that. So I have some tips on how to get over that. So I hope you'll take something from this afternoon. Thank you also for inviting me, Illustrados.
No problem.
No problem, Flor. Okay, let's start.
So the title of my art talk, we call this art talk, is making art, following obsessions, and finding your own process. So let's let's discuss first how I started painting. So when I was young, I wanted to be, it's either to be a veterinarian or to be a botanist or something to do with plants. Um, I was into drawing. I was obsessed with drawing, but I did not know that that could be a career, or you could do that as career. Yeah, or lifetime job. But the early inspirations I had were pictures from calendars, landscapes. Oh, it's similar to that one. The color and the palette, uh, almost like what they call it, work by Maxfield Parrish or Bob Ross. So that
Mhm.
was quite common. They were given by the grocery stores or from the products that we buy. So I cut them up and then I paste them on my cabinet or my closet. So that was my first experience with art.
Mm.
And then as a kid, I was also into the Disney characters. So what made impression to me the most was the Fantasia with Mickey Mouse, and also the, I think it's in the next slide. Yeah, that one. And Peter Pan.
Mhm.
I think it's the element of the fantasy. That's what I liked about it. But I hated Alice in Wonderland. I couldn't comprehend. I was so I was so what they call that, confused. Why do they keep doing that? So I hated that story before. But
How
Fantasia
come,
was
Flor?
ah.
How come you hated that story?
It doesn't make sense kasi I think I have may konting OCD. So
Mm-hmm.
I have to control everything. Pero pag ganun, you can't control, 'di ba, yung sa Alice. You have to eat this and then you're going to grow big and then you have to eat this and it's so confusing eh.
Mm-hmm.
So Fantasia I think because of the music also. Kasi yung music niya is opera and I'm into classic music and opera.
Mm-hmm. Also, Ma'am Flor, during our talk, you have mentioned that your other inspiration come from books,
Oh
yung mga old
yes.
school
Oo.
books like Lola
Kasi
Bashang.
I grew up kasi in a remote barrio. That's in Ampayon, Butuan City. That's
Mm-hmm.
in the southern part of Mindanao along the Caraga region. So that's along Agusan del Norte. So when we were small, my father used to send us books like Lola Basyang and fairy tales, also Arabian Nights. But
Mm-hmm.
when we ran out of books to read, my mother used to borrow from the library. What I love most was the Gods and Goddesses by the Greek and uh,
Roman culture.
Roman, yeah,
Mm-mm.
sila Jupiter, sila Venus.
Yes, that's a great move.
Mm. So, so I still continued my drawing, and then I saw this one from Matisse,
So Henry Matisse. Mhm.
Henri Matisse. So our neighbor was throwing out some trash, and along with it are old magazines, art magazines.
Mm.
So I was looking through it, and then I was really stunned. I was blown away by this series of works by Henri Matisse,
Oh,
especially the one called the Red Studio pala. It's not Red Room. This one,
the Red Studio.
yeah.
So
It
you have seen this from the magazine
yeah,
that
yeah.
your neighbor thrown.
Mm. I kept them, pero I forgot where they are now. As a child, kasi you think that the art is all about the landscape and the ones I kept before. It's so formal, but this one really opened my mind.
Mm-mm.
Kasi you could do anything pala with painting, you could do anything with art. So that yung color niya, you don't have to do the perspective eh. He did something with it that everything came together. There was no perspective eh. Oh. And
Yes,
then
walang boundaries.
mm,
Yeah, it's like,
riot
purely,
of
yes,
colors, but
purely
it's
expression.
there's a harmony in it. So he
Mm-hmm.
really Matisse gave me the wings in art making. So
Okay.
that from that time I said that this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Kumbaga ganun.
Mm-hmm.
I had a calling na to art.
Mm-hmm.
That just moment na, yung moment lang na yun, you realized, wow, this is my calling.
Yeah. And I think that's not so so common among young people. Kasi ako it's very clear na for me early on.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Ano age mo at the time? What age at the time?
Around 7 or 8 years old yata.
Wow, really?
7, 8.
Yeah. Yeah, kasi I'm so obsessed with drawing, but I didn't know that you could do something like that in art,
Mm.
which
So
is modern art na.
have you ever found out, Miss Flor, kung ano yung meaning ng the
The
Red Studio?
yeah, that yun yung that's his aim to veer away um to get out from the formal style and setting and composition of the Renaissance period.
Mm-mm.
So that's siya yung nagano ng modern art. It's not really Picasso kasi I'm Team Matisse ako eh. Idol
Yes.
ko talaga yan sa Team Matisse. Actually, Picasso was the one following Matisse.
Mm-hmm. So
He said,
idol siya
oo,
ni Picasso.
sabi nga ni Matisse, he was the demon that's always on my back looking at what I'm going to do next. So
Mhm.
actually, si Picasso yung nagfa-follow kay Matisse. Pero
Yes.
more academic kasi yung gawa ni Matisse. Si Picasso naman yung life niya, 'di ba? his personal life, parang yun ang medyo nag-push dun sa career niya and his talent
Mm.
also.
So, yung kay Picasso, it's based on his personal life and experience,
Mm.
while kay Matisse is following just his imagination.
Um,
So,
academician.
correct. And I've also read a book, and it's called the How to Still an Artist, like an Artist. So, dun sa book na yun, they have mentioned that great ideas don't just come from your brain. So it comes from everywhere nga. Tapos, they also mentioned na if you wanted to get something from your idol, you should follow yung idol ng idol mo. So they parang they specifically mentioned din doon na si Bruce Lee, ayun, may fina-follow siyang idol. So, parang similar analogy lang to doon. So, if you wanted to pursue more or get a grasp more of those some inspirations pa, yun. So, if you want to dive deeper on those inspirations or aspects of something, don't just see kung ano yung ginagawa ng idol mo, but kung ano pa yung sinusundan ng idol mo. So, siya
Yeah.
yun.
Parang ano, follow the mentor of your mentor. Parang
Mm.
ganun.
Yes.
But kasi mag-settle ka pa sa second best, doon ka na sa best, the one on the top. So this one, part ng series yan ni Matisse, part ng Red Studio. The one on the upper left was the Red Room. Pero yung nag-made impression talaga sa akin yung Red Studio. And look at that, kasi na-amaze si Picasso sa kanya. Kasi nung tinignan ni Picasso yung ginagawa ni Matisse, he went out of the canvas na. Parang, wala na to, uwian na tayo. May nanalo na. Kasi sila sa canvas lang sila gumagawa. And then si Matisse hanggang walls na, walang tigil na hanggang ceiling.
Ang galing. So, kahit sa bedroom niya,
Mm.
he never stops presenting yung mga
And then,
visual imagination niya.
And then as you can see, 80 years old na yata siya dyan. And then the cuttings on the wall, that was part of his series na the jazz series, na panay cutouts lang. And then I think that was the of modern art na. Kasi he couldn't paint anymore. His hands were shaking na. So that's what he did, cutouts na.
Ang galing.
So this one, that's what the young artists were always asking. How can you find inspiration? So what I can say is that look inside. What's happening in your life? What are your obsessions? For me, my obsessions are nature. Kasi I grew up nga surrounded by nature, and then books, literature, and then anything na parang seems interesting to me. Sabi ko nga kay Anelle the other day, just give me a seed. Kahit sa isang seed lang, I could look at it all afternoon and I could create stories around it. So number 2, life experiences naman. For me, I had a traumatic childhood. Not emotionally, but because of the environment. Kasi our home was at very last house of the subdivision. It's a subdivision, but it was a reclaimed land. So swampy yung area na yon. So lahat ng mga animals doon, snakes, and then yung mga insects, mga lizards. Actually, I once had a pet crocodile. Kasi after
Crocodile?
yeah, there was a big flood. And then after that, I found a tiny lizard. I thought it was a lizard, so I kept it. And then my mother got really mad kasi sabi niya it's a crocodile daw. But it's so cute kasi yung ang laki ng eyes niya. I decided to keep it I put it in our fish pond. Tapos but when I came back the next day, it's gone. Maybe it got eaten by our piranhas. Joke lang. Crocodile. Crocodile lang yung totoo.
Natakot na ako.
Also, happy childhood. Like anything as simple as yung there was an artist naman sabi niya she threw an bottle tapos nakita niya yung paint si Artemis Asuncion yung nagkwento sa akin. Tapos sabi niya, nakita niya yung paint and then from then on, she was inspired by the patterns made by the paint. So, you can also find them in media. Books, mahilig ako sa supernatural and then historical and then I don't look at books related to arts because I want to keep my originality. Tapos pag you cannot filter them out eh. Papasok yan sa'yo, akala mo original ka na. Yung pala may nakita ka lang sa book and then lumabas. So try not to look at art magazines. If you are doing your trying to find your style. Then magazines, I do a lot of cutouts from architectural, interior, natural magazines. And then films, I also love um, movies, yung Star Trek. I'm a Trekkie. Tapos sci-fi documentaries. I love the documentaries by David Attenborough. And of course, internet. Anything you want to search naman nasa internet. And then profession. I had friends who are animators na naging painter din. Musician, I know someone he's a violinist. And then you can see it from his works na they're abstract but linear forms. And then you can see the mathematical, I don't know, mathematical something about it na there's music in his work then. Then carpentry, I know an artist also, Leymanto and Aldron Anchingues. Si Leymanto, he's into naman puzzles. He cuts the puzzles and then make it a part of his artwork. And si Aldron, they own I think a furniture store. So most of his works they feature frames from taken from their store like the wood, different wood and then the wallpaper. And then I also have a friend who's into baking and I think it had her process was also somehow related to her works, which were acrylic na she plays around with them. And then I imagine na while she was doing the dough or mixing the ingredients, may something very fluid in her works. And then materials. You can, sabi nga ni Anelle, she, di ba, mixed media. You also try that.
Yes,
Anything, or any junk mga sa junk pieces like furnitures or appliances, you can make them your art. Fabrics, also I saw someone who was making art made by coconuts. Number 6, experimentations. Of course, you have to play with your materials, hindi yung kung anong nakita mo, that's it. Play around, experiment. It's a continuous life na pursuit yan, experimentations. So number 7, everyday living. What you see every day, your life experiences or the people that you meet. I know an artist, his name is Wipo. He made a series out of expressive art naman yon, expressionistic art na portraits of people that he met. So I think sa sobrang dami niya siguro nakilala, yun yung niya, yun yung inspiration niya. And then objects also, you can take a pen and then you can make a lot of series from this. Also, I met an artist who made a story out of 2 paper pins. Then nagpaint siya ng what they do every day, like yung dalawang paper pin na in love and then they had children, gano'n. Everyday objects lang. So that's it for inspiration.
Kahit saan kayo tumingin, you can make use of it as your resource if you wanted to create something wonderful and inspiring. So, etong picture na in-attach ko dito.
Yeah, I was asking for that.
Oo. So ito, ano lang siya, meron kasi akong inattendan na lesson about visual perceptions. Tapos, yung ano na yun, yung exercise dun is find something useful in your surroundings. Tapos, eto sa HQ to, sa office namin. Sobrang tagtuyot nung oras na yun. Summertime kasi nun. So, lahat nung plants dun sa likod, sa backyard nung office namin, pinulot ko siya. So, yan, halo-halo siya. Nilagyan ko rin ng coffee bean. Ayan. Tapos, tinry kong gumawa ng positionings and parang pinag-ano-ano ko siya, pinagtagpi-tagpi ko siya in such a way na magmumukha siyang balanse lahat kahit magkakaiba sila ng elements. Kahit hindi siya totally measured. Pero parang ano siya, naging fluent yung design. Hindi ko sana nalagay dito yung parang final output niya. Pero gumawa ako ng digital art na this combines lahat ng nandito. So, ayun, ginawa ko siyang wallpaper sa phone ko noon. Tapos, ginawa ko siyang desktop, pati sa email ko. Ganon. So, ano siya, parang pinag-mix-mix ko siya lahat. Hinalo ko siya lahat sa using Photoshop and AI. So, sayang, hindi ko lang napakita. Pero, ayun, inspirations comes from everywhere. So, lahat ng resources, kahit ano yung makita nyo sa paligid nyo, magagamit nyo yan. So, kahit ano siya, kahit kalat pa yan. Ayan. So,
Hmm.
next slide.
May mga artist din na gumagawa niyan, tawag nila art
Mm.
provera, art proveras. Kasi
Mm.
nano din namamatay din, and then after nun, hindi talaga, it's not lasting. Pero that's what's special about it, kasi it's not lasting.
Mm.
So, yan yung tawag doon sa ginawa mo.
Mm. Ngayon ko lang nalaman. Pero, ayan, ang cool.
That's art.
Mm.
So, uh, how do you find your own identity? So, I told you, get inspirations muna, and then yan na, mag-start ka na how to get your own style back. This is from a quote from Franz Kafka. He wrote the Metamorphosis, which is also one of the inspirations in my work. So it goes: don't bend, don't water it down, don't try to make it logical, don't edit your soul according to the fashion. Rather, follow your most intense obsessions mercilessly. So I don't know if he's a stalker or ano. Pero ano yan yung ano ko, yung mantra ko talaga while I was doing my works. Follow your obsessions. So you have to define first what are your obsessions. And then when you see what you are really interested in, or what is your passion, focus on it, and then stick to it. Wag ka munang palipat-lipat, try mo munang ano yan, explore mo ng explore. And then, so I'm going to give you an example of my obsessions. Dance of the phalanges. It took me 2 years to do this. Uh, I, I used 149 pages. Nakikita mo yung pagka-OCD, ano. 149 pages and 281 sketches of hands. So these are the sketches. These were done during our lunch break. Kasi I was still full-time working full-time as a jewelry designer. So I can only do this during lunch.
Super
Then
galing nito, Ma'am Flor. Ang detailed niya. Actually, isa to sa mga frustrations ng mga nagka-character design. Kasi ang hirap i-draw ng mga limbs ng kamay.
kasi I was fascinated by them kasi they look like different 5 ballerinas that were dancing, ano. Kanya-kanya movement, pero may grace yung movement nila. Magkakasama pa rin sila, synchronized.
Ito nga, Ma'am Flor, may napahalo pang paa. Sabi,
So, I saw them from magazines kasi. And then as you can see, the paper that I'm using there are all scratch paper. Kasi nanghihinayang ako if I use new paper eh.
eto may
So,
computation
yeah,
pang.
may computation pa yung boss ko dyan. So, you can see how many diamonds he used.
Para saan yung computation?
For the pricing, wag na bilisan natin, bilisan. For the pricing. For the pricing. So,
Price
ayan.
ng mga jewelry
Uh,
design.
then, jade naman na pendant yan yung ginawa ko.
Eto.
So, I think it's also part of my advocacy na yung yung conservation. I mean, yung environment. Kasi pag marami kang paper na ginamit, maraming mamamatay na trees.
Correct.
Then I displayed that was part of the Sketchpad 2019. That's one of the yearly events in our gallery, the Arte Pintura Gallery. So all of my hand drawings are exhibited in that. So I filed them like with just paper clips, and then you can look parang book ba siya na you can see what the drawings are. Naka-compile sila lahat.
So, makikita niyo sa mga next slide kung gaano ka maximalist si Ma'am Flor. Parang lahat ng artworks niya, pag may obsession siya, pag may nakita siyang isang bagay or isang inspiration, ang dami na niyang gagawin doon hanggang sa mapuno. Mamaya na lang pala, Ma'am Flor.
Okay lang. So, as a part of your inspiration, you can gather them from experiences. So, as I mentioned, I grew up in a remote barrio in Butuan City. We had no electricity. Pero yung sasakyan namin, motorized na, hindi yung kalesa. So, at night, diverse nature and dark nights. So diverse yung environment in Agusan, and then dark nights because we did not dark nights literally kasi wala kaming kuryente. So diverse nature, these are the works that I made inspired by nature. The one on the left is kasi I was inspired by orchids because my mom was she had a lot of it. My dad was in forestry, and then they were always namumundok sila. And then when he comes home, he has a lot of orchids with him. Kaya bawal na pala ngayon. Pero dati pa yan. So bawal na ngayon yan. May waling-waling and then sleeper orchids.
Ma'am Flor, how old are you when you created this?
No, when I started painting, that was 2006. Nag-oil painting kasi. Before, drawing lang talaga ako. First time ko lang nag-paint ng oil niyan, 2006. And then, these are part of my second solo exhibit. The title was Visceral Garden. Kasi, parang ginawa kong tao bawat flower niyan, may feeling yan na related. Like the one below, that's livid. The white one, silent screams. Kasi I think na yung flowers, parang sumisigaw sila, silent screams. And then the yellow, silent cacophony. And then the one on the right is burn. Your heart is burning, kumaga. So, dark nights, literally, matagal kami hindi nagbayad ng kuryente. joke. So, this was, I imagined it na yan yung kunyari yung home namin. Pero actually, the home was, I saw that from the feature on Agusan Marsh. Pero inano ko lang na kunyari yan yung house namin, tapos yan yung lights. And then, may lumilipad na, uso-uso dati yung yung manananggal.
Pati tik-tik, Ma'am Flor.
Manananggal or you can say it's their ano ba tawag sa English niyan? shapeshifters na parang vampires, na flying vampires.
Yes.
So, we are so afraid of that kasi we always hear a rumor na this one was killed kasi ganito ganyan, this pregnant woman was attacked by a shapeshifter. And our neighbor was always scaring us. Sabi nila meron daw sila nakikita na an old woman dancing on our roof every night. Pero
Mm-mm.
I think, but we always hear that there was someone or something walking on top of our roof. Pero I
Mhm.
think there are malaking birds siguro 'yon.
Baka mga eagle.
Mm.
Or pwede rin naman, baka totoo nga siya.
Ewan ko, hindi naman namin sinisilip, takot kami. And then we
Hindi
took
ko lang.
pinoprotektahan namin sarili namin
Mm.
by putting branches of citrus branches around
And
the
garlic.
windows and garlic. Alam mo naman, para just to cover all the bases. And also, our alarm systems are also there. Yung takip ng kaldero. Very practical na alarm system yun.
Mas effective. Tapos ano pa, hindi ka pa gagastos ng
Yeah.
kuryente, di ba?
Hindi pa high-tech yun. So, one of the dark pieces that I made, Hell Hath No Fury. So this was part of an exhibit na 7 sins and 7 virtues, 7 deadly sins and 7 heavenly virtues. So the curators, Mr. Nestor Ong, said that all the women will be heavenly virtues and all the men will be deadly sins. Tapos sabi ko, no, hindi ko kaya. I cannot justify my doing the virtues. Hindi ako pang virtues. So sabi ko, just give me na lang asin. Kasi yung the one he gave me was wrath. And then I found out that the wrath was nandiyan ba yung quote ng wrath? Nakalimutan ko na.
Wala ata mga
Wala. So wrath it's
Ay, ito pala.
yun. Wrath does not actually mean rage or fury. Dante described wrath as love of justice perverted to revenge and spite. So I wanted to do something na hindi cliche. It's not cliche. Because when you think of wrath, you're going to paint as something like orange or red or someone fighting or someone angry. So I went, what I wanted was something darker. So I made up a story of kasi 'di ba when you say this man is no, yung kunyari nakakatakot tong lalaking to masyadong matapang. Pero he's afraid of his wife. So sabi ko, mas matapang yung babae. So sabi ko, naisip ko nga, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So my story was, there was a woman who was scorned and then she created a doll, no, parang yung voodoo doll.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so, I don't want anything from the internet kasi they're not walang dating eh. So I tried to make a doll. I really hated sewing kasi during elementary my projects I would ask my tita to do them for me. So dito napilitan talaga.
Mm-hmm.
And then the doll were based on my exes. So pero we nagalit nga sila nung nalaman na sila yung sila yung
Nakakatakot na
basis ko.
maging ecstasy mo.
sabi, sabi, sabunutan kita dyan, ikaw yung nang iwan tapos gagawin mong parang ako yung binaliktad ko daw. So, yung damit nila dyan are what they are, favorite clothes nila. So,
Totoong buhay, Ma'am Flor.
oo,
Nakabandana talaga.
mahilig siya sa ganyang, yung paisley.
Ah,
Lagi niyang ginagamit na scarf or something.
mm-hmm.
So, ginawa kong Tas, and then, meron siyang suit na parang ganyan din, kulay red. So, ganyan ako. And their other one, the one with the stripes, yung mahilig din siya sa stripes. And then, yung hair na white na makalat na ganyan.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's all done India ink on canvas. very plain lang. Pero the curator said that may something yung work mo, meron daw ritmo. So I tried to to do another series about the doll, but I couldn't do it anymore kasi it has something daw eh. May force yung dalawang 'yan.
The force is strong. Baka nga yung hatred sa ex nyo na
No, baliktad nga. It's the
balik.
other way. Baka sabunutan daw ako, sabing ganun. I
Ma'am Flor,
invited,
invite mo ba sila dito?
yeah. Later on sa exhibit kasi okay na kami. Okay na kami. May na, okay. So, sunod, process. So, my old works were done using oil on canvas. And then, very, yung composition na, very studied yung composition. I use grid lines pa. Grid lines to do the composition. And then, I will compare them with my new medium, and then I will show the experiments with compositions and the new medium. So these are my old works. This was from my first exhibit. Left to their own devices, yung title. They are portraits of my children. So the one on the left is Fashion Princess, and then the one on the right is Once Upon a Time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one, they had hats for Halloween, so I told them to wear them. Ginawa ko silang model.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all oil on canvas. And then the next one, diyan nag-start na ako ng anthropomorphize ng plants and then humans. The one on the right is an old work I did nung student pa ako ng painting. So, nag-start na akong medyo mag-surreal works na niyan. So, the new medium, we moved to a new house, and then my room was it had no windows.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot paint on oil kasi it's bad for the lungs.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to find the new medium, which is India ink on canvas. So that's my first work sa India ink. And then the books, ayan yan. The books below are my favorite books. The one on the left is by Franz Kafka. May yung Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Then kay Chaucer yata, yan na poetry. Then Stephen King, of course. Yung yun yung King ng Darkness, si Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
And also the opera music din, CDs of the opera music. Mahilig din kasi ako dyan. So these are my unintended my first ink series. These were my first works on ink. Medyo it's quite difficult kasi it's very slippery yung canvas, and I had to put in layers and layers of India ink to make it stiff. So then again, the orchids are there. Ayan, orchids din. And then mushrooms and the venomous spider and the nitrogen loving Venus flytrap. Also the Rafflesia, one of the biggest flowers in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yan yung dragon's blood tree from Africa. Then betta fish, and then cactus.
Mm-hmm.
That
And
was
then gamit yung brush dito, Ma'am Flor, is yung, sabi niyo, parang kasing nipis lang ng hair, in hair.
Yeah, kasing nipis ng hair. Not for the not for the background. Kasi iwa-wash ko muna yung background ng bigger brush. But all the details are done with, one lang yung hair niya.
Mm-hmm.
And then the, California, ano nga ba yun? The pitcher plant. California something. Yung pitcher plant na yan. Para siyang cobra, Kaya tanto ako sa shape. They look like snakes kasi.
Snakes na parang may head nga na.
So these are my new process. I had a lot of drawings from the the ink experiments. So I was thinking of how to use them in my art making. So I photocopied them and then I cut them up and then I used them to make new compositions by juxtaposing the different drawings. So I compiled iba-iba yan, my horns, snakes, birds, reptiles, deers, and I started collecting and drawing
Mm.
until
Yan. Kinategorize niyo pa, Ma'am Flor.
yeah, kasi may pagka-OCD nga.
Dito lalabas yung pagka-OCD talaga.
And then yan, dumami ng dumami.
Yun nga, sobrang dami.
Isang malaking box na yan ngayon. Hindi ko pa
na-organize. Paano siya yung dinodrawing mo siya isa-isa, ika-cut out mo, then itatabi mo lang siya, ganun?
Oo, ipa-photocopy ko muna ng ilang pieces and then, yan ko na. Tapos, pagkatapos niyan, ikakalat ko na yan lahat. Kung anong madamot yun.
Nice.
Pero ibabalik ko na naman ulit.
Oo nga eh. Pwede siya pang sticker, sarap niyang i-post sa Parang siya, ang sarap yung wallpaper, di ba? Sa kwarto. Tattoo, pwede.
Actually, yung isang design ko, may nagpatattoo na nun.
Ganda nga rin siyang patattoo. Pero ayaw daw ni Miss Flor to yung gawing sticker kasi precious tong mga drawings na to sa kanya.
Wallpaper version please daw. Oo nga, good idea, Gab. Sige, let's
Oo nga, please.
Ayan, dumami ng dumami. So, I was thinking of using, wait lang, balik tayo. The composition there on the canvas, I used an animal. Gusto ko yung pinaka-center yung animal. And then we had an exhibit entitled Junk Shop. So, may mga junk na akong nilagay dyan. And then, I was thinking about consumerism and yung mass consumption. And then yung trash na nasa ocean. So I imagined na yung mga trash na tinapon natin, nag-mutate yung animals, incorporated in their bodies are trash. So I made a series, yung title niya, Flotsam, Jetsam, and then some. Di ba yung mga Flotsam and Jetsam, yun yung after yung a boat sank, yun yung mga debris na lumalabas. So, yan, that was my first work. Charybdis is a sea monster. It's a big fish. Pero yan, nilagyan ko ng mga monoblock na chairs. And then, seaweeds. And then, this is my favorite. This is peacock. If we can, see the details. Peacock because all of imbis na the feathers, the patterns on the feathers are they are pots and pans. Pots and pans. And then the feathers are ferns.
Sayang mga Flor, hindi ko siyang zoom.
Walang zoom?
Oo, wala kang zoom eh.
Anyway, sige, you can naman. Imagine na lang. So this one is butterfly. The picture was from the one taken of Lolong, the biggest crocodile, saltwater crocodile on captive. He was taken from the Agusan del Norte also. Agusan del Sur, part of where I came from. The biggest marsh in the Philippines. Agusan Marsh. So all of his feathers are some of his feathers are bottles. So butterfly. Pero of course may seaweeds na naman. Kasi from the sea siya.
Doon nyo rin ba nakuha, Ma'am Flor, yung alaga niyo nung bata pa kayo? Yung crocodile?
Yes, I think so then. Talaga yung mga experiences mo, babalik at babalik eh.
Baka na-miss nyo.
So another pieces of sabi nga may pagka-goth. And then I'm into um, the dark arts. Hindi 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 call that. Hindi ako witch.
Hindi magic.
Yeah, arts lang, hindi
Dark arts.
arts as in arts, hindi magic. Oo. So, I'm into reading then, but I was obsessed with this author, si Nathaniel Hawthorne. So he wrote The Scarlet Letter and The House of the Seven Gables. But this one is my favorite. It's just a story, novelette lang tawag sa kanya.
Mm-hmm.
Pero it really made an impression on me. So it's about a botanist, a scientist who experimented on his plants, and he made them poisonous, and then he has a daughter, tapos parang to protect the daughter from the evils of the world daw. Parang may superpower siyang binigay. So, she made her poisonous then. Unfortunately, she met a man na she fell in love with, pero na-poison niya yung man. So, in the end, nagpakamatay siya. So, it's a very depressing story then.
Mm-hmm.
So, from Rappaccini's daughter, I made a series called Rappaccini's Garden. So this is my first major work from that one. The title is Septicemia. Septicemia is death by blood poisoning. So for this series, the major themes are beauty and death. So instead of using bones and skulls, which are yun yung pinaka-typical na gagamitin mo when you say death, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that, I use antlers of different animals. So imbis na leaves yan, antlers yan. And instead of roots, I use snakes, venomous snakes. For the beauty part, that's the sleeper orchids.
May inspiration from your childhood, yung orchid.
Oh yeah, your orchids pa rin. And the snakes also. These are birthing pains. It's about the ano yung itsura nung pag nanganak siya. So, yung itlog, meron din siyang, may twin siya na orchid din. So, they're both poisonous. Kasi, sa Rappaccini's daughter, yung daughter doon parang feeling niya, kapatid na din niya yung mga plants eh. Kinakausap niya, nilalaro niya. So, my sisters ang tawag niya dun sa mga flowers.
Ooh. Ma'am Flor, di ba nabanggit niyo na meron ding opera version nun besides
yeah. No, pero it's not that popular kasi hindi siya nag-mainstream. Pero okay lang. Ayoko din naman ng medyo mainstream yung gawa ko. Kaya nag-match lang din. So, sepsis also, death by blood poisoning. Yan yung ginawa kong name for this series. I think I made 6 pieces from that one. So, ayan, yung favorite subjects ko naman. And then, Femme Fatale, the smaller pieces naman, kasi, we wanted to exhibit in Manila Art, but they saw my small pieces, akong ginawang ganyan. Tapos sabi nung curator namin, si Azor Pascogin, which is also my partner in the gallery, he said that, why don't you make this and then make lots and lots of them, and then we'll fill the whole wall with them. So, I made the series Femme Fatale. I made 50 pieces.
Ang dami na naman.
Actually, ngayon, mga 60-70 na yata sila. Hindi ko na mabilang eh. Tapos yan, buong wall nung isang part ng exhibit namin.
Ang galing. Kano siya kalaki ng Flor?
Ano lang. Ayun, nasa likod ko.
Ay, patingin.
Oh.
Ayun pala.
I kept my favorite ones. Hindi siya ganun ka-saleable pero as the years went on, nabili din unti-unti, but I kept my favorite ones. I think I have 15 or 12 of them.
Nice.
So my next process is the 3D layered artworks. My inspiration for this was I saw the Bravos, the next great artist, yung winner doon si Kimya Nawabi, and she was, sayang nga hindi ko na ilagay dito. She did some pieces using polyester films, may layering siya. I wrote her I DM'd her, tapos sumagot siya, kinikilig ako, sumagot siya Kimya Nawabi. Kasi I said she inspired my works and then tapos ayun, sumagot siya. Tatuwa naman ako.
Then you send her artworks din sa
Yeah,
kanya?
yeah, sample of artwork. So
Nice.
we follow each other na.
Sa IG ba yan, Ma'am Flor? Plug niyo later yung IG niyo, Ma'am Flor, dito para follow namin kayo.
It's the same din naman, Flor Baradi lang naman. So para madaling mahanap. So for my 3D layers, colored na yung ano ko ginamit ko, wala nang black and white. So different pictures of animals. Yung National Geographic, it was really useful to me kasi I photocopied them. Kung minsan ko wala na akong ink, pencil na lang ginagamit ko pang kulay.
And these are from magazines, right, Ma'am Flor?
Mga
saan
nature
kayo
books.
nabili ng magazines or mga books?
Actually, binibigyan ako. Yung collection ko ng National Geographic, bigay ng boss ko yun. Pagkatapos niyang basahin yung iba, you give this to Flor. Tapos, totoo naman ako, may bagong delivery.
Okay, kasi...
Kaya siguro naubos yung magazine natin sa office, Anelle. Naubos mo. Ginagawa mong ganito.
Ano nga ako na-OC ako pag ginugupit ko rin yung pag gumagawa ko dati ng mga collage. Na-OC ako sa mga magazine. Sabi ko, sayang ginupit ko. Pero okay lang. So, ayun. Kung gusto niyo ng inspirations for books, ganyan, pwede kayo bumili sa book sale. Nag-plug pa ng bookstore. Pero sobrang mura kasi ng mga libro sa book sale. Tapos, marami din mga mga tig 25 pesos lang kung nagtitipid kayo.
Speaking of book sale, suki ako niyan.
Sabi na nga ba
alam ko yung schedule ng sale nila, nakanote yun kung kailan. Kasi ibabagsak talaga nila ng 20 pesos yung books yan. So I have a lot of hardbound books from book sale. So,
ang binibili ko naman sa book sale, yung mga crochets, na patterns for kasi usually yung sa mga patterns ng pillows, lalo na sa US, is yung mga design usually mga mandala. Mahilig kasi ako sa mandala. So minsan doon ako kumukuha ng inspirations.
Nagawa mo din yung itago yung magazine na favorite mo para hindi makuha ng iba. And then babalikan mo na lang nag-sale siya later.
Modus ni Anelle yun.
Yeah.
Modus.
Tuwan-tuwa ako niyan kasi pag uwi ko 300 lang yung pera ng dala ko and then 2 big plastic bags na ng books ako niyan.
Oo, ganun kamura sa book sale. Galit na nga yung mom ko kasi ang dami na naming magazine na agyo lang. Okay.
And then, so they were done for this of chimeras and other myths. Chimeras are creatures who are are parts of different animals. Pwede siyang human, animal insect, animal plants. Actually, they're doing that now sa mga yung mga scientists. Pero ang problema sa kanila, it's not all of them are regulated. So, meron sila experiment, di ba, yung ngayon, meron yung genetic splicing. So, yung isang creature, lalagyan nila ng virus. Actually, virus ang ginagamit nila to insert the DNA of another creature. Kaya ngayon may hypoallergenic na bunnies. May mga glow-in-the-dark na pets. So, for me, they are, replacing the role of God, by DNA splicing. Pero kung unregulated, ang hirap na kasi if you're experimenting with humans na. Human life na yan
Yes.
But is okay lang kung for medical reasons, pero just for alam naman natin nangyari sa Jurassic World, di ba? Jurassic Park pala. Yan. Kaya yan ang
inspirations.
Oo. Three books for my inspiration. The one on the left is paborito ko yan, si JBS Haldane. His writings on genetics updated pa rin hanggang ngayon. Totoo pa rin yan hanggang ngayon. Hindi pa yan na-debunk. So si H.G. Wells naman, yung writer din ng Time Machine, one of my favorite books din. yung Island of Dr. Moreau niya. That was a film na ginawa with Marlon Brando. And I think there was sino pa bang bida dyan? Nakalimutan ko. Pero of course, the book, it's always the best. Mas gumagana imagination kapag yung book lang. And then Jurassic Park, also my favorite author. It's about hindi regulated din yung experimentations. So, you should read it talaga. Malayo sa for me malayo dun sa movie. And then these were my first attempts on doing the layered works. The one on may may drawing ng butterfly on acetate muna trinay ko kasi wala pa akong makitang polyester film. Pero it's not lasting, so naghanap talaga ako. Yung source ko galing pang US. Nag-i-import pa ako from US. So yan na yung different animals sa ilalim, and then illustration of black and white na butterfly sa gitna. And then sa naman, sa top naman, acrylic painting yan on polyester film then. So 3 layers.
Sure, pwede bang pa-print sa t-shirt to? Parang sarap naman sa t-shirt nito.
Sure.
Pwede.
Actually, yan nasa akin. Yan nasa akin pa. Kasi pag yung seminal works or yung may breakthrough kang nagawa and then yung first work mo na ginawa for breakthrough series, I keep that for myself. Huwag mo ibebenta yan. My advice to the artist, huwag mo ibebenta yan.
Breakthrough series. So, ito yung mga first na gawa nyo. And then, dito nyo ma-realize na marami pa lang mapupuntahan tong designs ko.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
T-shirt.
Oh, no problem. You can, I can give you the high-res picture.
Pag Ma'am Flor,
thank you.
Breakthrough series nyo to eh. Yung next na lang gawin.
Ano ba? Kumakontra ka pa.
Eto.
Yeah,
Ayun nga, no?
Di ba?
Tapos nag-start na dyan yung mga obsession ko naman sa eyes. Ewan kung bakit I was drawn into different kinds of eyes, animals tsaka people. And then that's what it yan ang itsura niya pag naka-layer na siya framing. No, ang tagal naming pinag-aralan ng framer yan kung anong diskarte gagawin.
Pinahirapan nyo ata Ma'am Flor yung frame nyo.
Yes. And then, I tried to do it myself. Hindi ko talaga kaya. Iba talaga yung pagkagawa nila. Kasi medyo expensive pag pinagawa mo. So, I tried it. Pero hindi talaga. Mga expert talaga yung mga yan.
Tapos, dapat yung bawat frame is pantay doon sa dito sa mismong nyo.
Mag-match.
Center. So, mahirap siyang ayusin by frame.
And the difficult thing about that is yung polyester film, madaling ma-scratch.
Nga pala.
Tapos pag nahanginan, baka mag-fold. Tapos may mark na ganun. So, yan, kailangan ka-aircon ka and then walang kahangin-hangin. And then, dalawa or tatlo. Minsan, 4 nga dapat for big pieces. 4 kayong magbubuhat ng dahan-dahan.
Wala palang hingahan to.
Bawal huminga.
Mas mahal pa yung mga glass. Ito pa yung ibang piece ni Ma'am Flor.
Yan, this is my favorite also. Yan, sa akin lang yan. Hindi ko binenta din. Kasi seminal piece din yan.
Google Drive link.
Wag! Bilhin mo.
Yan, surreal. Wala yung videos,
Ay, oo nga pala, Ma'am Flor. Do you want to show it the video?
Merong video yan for that. Pero 1 minute, okay lang ba?
Yes.
Okay lang? Okay, sige.
Kasi the picture does not do them justice For this one, that's I think, title niyan. It's about dreams ano bang namin nun? I love doing surreal pieces. So, nightmares pala, it's about nightmares. Tapos, merong hodgepodge of different animals. Dream Maker yata title niyan. So I use sea animals, sea creatures yung sa ilalim. So the very first layer was India ink on canvas, and then the second layer, yun yung black and white illustrations, acrylic ink on polyester film. Yung Duralar, it's archival. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya nagyayellow, hindi siya nagwa-warp. So there are 2 pieces on top of that. Yun yung polyester films. And then they're sandwiched between glass, thin glass. So if you take a picture of it, ang hirap, it's so hard to take pictures of it kasi may glare siya. Pero pag nasa ibang location ka, iba yung itsura. Then pag lumipat ka sa ibang location, iba din yung itsura. I think that was my statement against you, di ba? Mahilig tayo mag-Instagram. Pupunta sa museum, tapos pipicture na lang, tapos aalis. So I tried to make na hindi, madaling kunan ng picture. You have to go there to appreciate it. So unfortunately, yung pandemic, lahat based on pictures na.
Mm-mm.
Kaya nagka-problema ako dyan. Hindi nila ma-appreciate kung yung pictures lang talaga. Wala pa yung video.
Ma'am Flor, saan pala nakalagay yung video?
Doon sa drive link. Sa link. Nasa baba lang siya, wala siya sa folder.
Okay.
So yata, Dream Maker yata yung title niyan.
Dream Maker.
Of Chimeras and Other Myths.
Okay. Ito.
May music pala. Oh, tama yung music na yan, the one I mentioned to you about. That's Venus in Velvet Revolver na album. Music nila yan, and then yung title niyan, Venus in Fur. Siya, para siyang haunting music na medyo may pagka-raunchy, na medyo may touches ng parang Middle Eastern na instruments. So that's all about nightmares.
Paano siya layer, Flor? Parang hindi ko paano?
Naka-ano siya, naka-frame. Tapos may spaces dun sa frame.
Oo.
2 layer yan on top. Yung black and white na drawing, and then another one on top, yung yung acrylic paint on polyester film. So 2 polyester films yan.
Ang ganda ng effect, ang ganda ng
Nagpo-float yung mga animals.
Oo.
Tama ka, Ma'am Flor, mas ma-appreciate siya in person.
Nasaan siya ngayon, Flor? Parang, saan siya pwedeng i-view?
Collection ko din. Pag yung may nagre-resonate talaga sa akin yung artwork ko, I don't sell them. Talagang I keep them. It's not very practical, pero close to heart kasi yung you can buy other pieces naman but not that one.
Sabi ko lagyan niya ng glass sa mga broken glass sa likod.
Sa likod, oo.
For effect.
I was
planning... Mukhang pupunta tayo kala Flor. Mag-viewing tayo sa bahay nila, Flor.
Ay, bawal pa sa amin. Bawal pa sa barangay namin. Naka-hard lockdown kami. Sayang. Okay. So, asa na ba tayo? Yan. 5 pieces naman yan nasa Manila Art. Yun ang problem nung lagi. Nagre-reklamo yung photographer kasi may reflection. Sabi ko, that's the point. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, nagpakuha ka ng picture and that's it. Kasi you have to go there to appreciate the piece.
Correct.
So I made another series for the 3D artworks menagerie. So I was in a hospital for about a month. There was someone who was into an accident sa orthopedic hospital. So you can see that I was the work was on the bed. I was drawing there. So I saw the x-rays and the scans ano from the hospital, and then medyo sabi ko something interesting. I want to do something interesting. Tapos I was obsessed by then yung time na yon with si P.T. Barnum, yung mga freak show niya, yung Siamese twins. So kinuha ko yung twins niya as reference for my artworks.
Kahit saan magpunta si Miss Flor, nakakakuha siya ng inspiration. So, imagine yun, nasa hospital, nasa emergency room kayo nun, no, Ma'am Flor?
Yeah, actually, nagbabantay ako for recovery na siya. So, we're waiting for the bones to heal. Kasi sa back sa likod, spine niya.
And then the next days, meron kayong art gallery na to.
The art gallery was started in 2014. Ito ginawa ko to mga 2018 yata. Yeah, the first twin was Downside Up. Ang title niya. Kasi dalawang twin siya. So, the first layer is canvas, acrylic on canvas. Acrylic ink on canvas. It's a hodgepodge of different animals. Merong aquatic, may duck, may yung seahorse, dalawang seahorse yan, may rabbit, and then betta fish. Paborito ko din, tsaka janitor fish. And then that's the second layer, that's acrylic ink on polyester film. So that's transparent. So yan yung twins, isa sa baba, isa sa taas. Kaya downside up. And then that's the last layer. That's the one on top talaga. That's acrylic paint on polyester film din. So that's transparent din siya. And then when you put them all together, yan, ganyan na yun. And then by the way, when I was doing that, yung music ko was the soundtrack from Utopia. I don't know if you watch it. Utopia, it's a series from UK. Parang they were this it's about the pandemic, man-made na pandemic. Then biglang nawala yung palabas na yun. Sabi nga nila, tinanggal ng government. Pero yung I was inspired by the music. Kasi it's it's very colorful. Akala mo yung very colorful na story, but there's something sinister. So, yan, medyo happy yung colors, pero may pagka-sinister yung dating.
So, what do you call this type of art, Ma'am Flor?
Surreal. Surrealism. Oo. Kasi parang nasa dream stage ka nung ginagawa mo. So, yan, yung medyo close-up version naman.
Hindi lang pala sa Photoshop nag-layer, no? Sa rin.
Totoo.
Sa real life.
Oo.
Tapos, Ma'am Flor, mas manipis pa siya sa tracing paper?
No, kasing nipis lang. Mga ilang grams ba yun? 100 grams yata.
Okay.
And that's the second twin. Na yung conjoined twins ko.
Two heads are better than one.
Dalawang heads siya. Parang lizard yung dalawang head. No, the other one, fish pala. The right one, lizard siya, octopus. Then for the body, you have the chicken and the turtle. Then di nawawala yung snakes. So that's the second layer. In the, acrylic ink on polyester film also.
Indian ink kulay?
No, this one acrylic ink na pala ako nito. Then that's the top layer, the third layer. Also acrylic on polyester film. And that's what it looks like when they're all together na.
Ang ganda. Parang super dami niyang, ang dami niyang elements. Tapos, iba't iba na yung story niya. Kahit saan ka
Play,
tumingin.
playful siya, happy, pero may ano nang may hints na ano, may something sinister going on. That's what I'm trying to capture.
Nice.
Yan yung naka-display na siya sa Manila Artland. We have a video of that also. Pero mahaba din eh, one minute din. Pero you can see naman the colors.
Ng Flor, parang yung pagka-frame nito is magkakadikit compared dun sa kanina.
Hindi, ganun din. Yung ano.
Same lang.
Parang mga 1.5 inch yung difference niya. So, dyan na yung sa ano, Manila Art 2018. So, doon pa din yung butterfly. Hindi ko pa rin tinatanggal kasi some people are interested in it. Pero, nag-add na ako ng iba.
Ang laki pala niya.
Parang ano, 30 by 40. Almost 3 feet by 4 feet. So, the third series from that inspiration, Human Hybrids, yun naman, ano na, that's the first layer. So, while I was doing that, my inspiration were the, I was watching, History Channel, yung mga Celtic kings, warrior kings, and warrior queens. So, the left side was Alaric, and the right side, si Boudicca. Boudicca yata. So, warrior queen yan siya kilala na Celtic. So, the one on the left is, half deer, tapos half male na human. Pero yung animals niya are from, land animals. And the woman on the right, may pagka-punk pa yung hair niya. Gusto ko medyo astig yung dating. Mermaid siya. And then, yung animals, all, aquatic animals. So, yan na yung naka-display na siya sa Manila Art.
Sobrang refreshing sa mata ng mga colors, Ma'am Flor.
Oo nga. Kasi that's, ko nga, yung attractive tignan yung colors. Hindi siya, primary colors. And then, I think, yan na yung palette ko ngayon. May hints lang ng, may hints ng darkness.
Tapos, Ma'am Flor, yung parang pinaka-inuunan yung shade or yung parang pinaka-base ba is yung skeleton, yung nasa second layer, or yung nasa likod nila?
They have to follow the skeleton. And then from there, scatter ko na yung animals. Yung form ng skeleton mo na susundan.
Okay.
So, this piece was, entry ko to sa, Philippine Art Awards noong 2019-2020. This is a quote from Carl Sagan. The nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our apple pies. We were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. Nung nabasa ko yung collapsing stars na yan, tsaka yung we are made of star stuff. No, it really made an impression of me. Sabi ko, wow, part tayo ng stars. Pag tinignan mo yung stars, sabihin mo, masasabi mo bang part tayo noon? Kasi yung mga elements ng body natin, nakikita din sa ibang planets. Kasi pag namatay yung di ba, isang star, lumalabas na, nag-spread na yung elements niya. And then, we are connected to the stars and we are connected to the animals and plants around us. Kasi, di ba, yung ibang animals, pareho din yung elements na meron tayo. So, yung interconnectedness yung theme yan.
Okay.
What we do na-affect yung buong environment natin. So yung inspiration ko dyan, kasi I was in the hospital a long time, MRI scans, and then yung favorite theme ko, yung obsession ko, yung flora and fauna. So, this is the piece. So, these are two figures, male and female. So, I wanted to do something that looks something clinical. So, yun nga yung MRI. And then, instead of the, yung mga internal organs, ay, ni-replace ko sila ng animals tsaka plants. So, yun yung may mga kanya-kanyang symbol. Kasi for an artist, you need your, to make your own personal symbols. Para kahit na iba-iba yung gawa mo, meron pa rin consistency, meron pa rin siyang, cohesiveness. Cohesive pa rin yung dating.
Yes,
So,
that's why present yung animals sa paintings niya.
Kaya pag may nakakita nga niyan, sabi, ay gawa nga ni Flor to.
May personality niya na yung lahat ng...
Kahit magkakaiba yung style kong ginagamit, di ba? Pero nakikita nila yung obsession ko na andun pa rin. And then yung orchid, and then yung fine brush, tsaka fine brush work, lumalabas pa rin. Tapos alam na nila na sa akin yun. So for the male, yung ginawa ko, instead of heart, nilagay ko yung seahorse. Kasi in the animal kingdom, the one who gets pregnant is the male. Tapos, kasi may mga kilala kong mga lalaki din na very caring sa anak nila. They actually some of them are more caring than the females, the mothers. So that's the positive part na I think na for the male. And then for the medyo negative part naman, it's the peacock. The male peacock is the most flamboyant creature in the animal kingdom. So that signifies pride.
Pride and ego. How about for the orchid?
For the orchid naman, when I found out the word orchid came from the Greek word orchis, meaning male genitalia. Kasi parang nakita mo yung sa ilalim, yung kulay pink, parang male genitalia daw yun. So, yan yung root word ng orchids. But that's tongue-in-cheek yan. So, I was just poking fun. Kasi yung mga ko, may humor din yung mga gawa ko eh. Diyan, I was just poking fun. And then, this one for the female naman, for her heart, I placed the Native American, may mga spirit animals sila, di ba? So, the deer signifies, sensitivity, yung heart niya, very, very, sensitive. And then, also the, the elephant, yung nature naman, very strong in nature. Kasi maraming babae din na malakas ang loob, buo ang loob. So, those two are the positive aspects of the what I can see in females. So for the medyo negative part, it's the snake. So instead of the genitalia nung babae, snake yung ko. This ito na may kinalaman dito do sa femme fatale na ginawa ko, di ba? Yung series
How come
ko.
Snake pala, Miss Flor?
Something kasi nung panahon yung mga babae wala pa masyadong karapatang bumoto. So most of them are passive aggressive. So yan, kumisan may mga babae na yung charm ginagamit nila to get away or to get something that they want. Kasi nga hindi pa nila equally, hindi pa equal dati. So for the reproductive system, imbis na ovaries ginamit ko dyan, orchids. Dahil sa plant kingdom, yung reproductive system nila are the flowers. So, yun yung ginamit ko.
Ang dami kong natutunan tungkol sa personality ng animals in just
So for this painting, hindi lang, it doesn't only discuss about our role in preserving our environment, also the aspects of the female and the male, nature, human nature. So this naman, for me, our role as artists is to reflect on times. Kasi lalo na ito once in ilang generations ba bago nangyari yung mga pandemic na yan. So it's a very uncommon na happening that we should take time to reflect on it, and then why this thing happened, anong nangyari sa buhay natin. Kasi parang magiging historians na lang na din tayo, I mean the artists and writers. Ano din tayo, pwede tayong visionaries or mga prophets or shamans na if we do this is going to, balang araw ganito mangyayari sa atin. So we should take this what happened to us and reflect on it. So this is what happened to me during the pandemic. So yung first stage niyan, yung nag-start pa lang yung pandemic, paranoia and depression, because I got sick. So I did not know if it's due to COVID or what. Pero for 3 weeks I could not get out of my room. And then very high yung fever. Pero hindi ka pwedeng magpa-check up kasi dati nagkakagulo pa dati, 'di ba? Baka mapahamak ka pa kung pumunta ka ng hospital. So
punuan
na
pa
lang,
ng hospitals.
self-medication
sa bahay.
self-medication na lang muna. So fever adult dreams kasi ang tagal na wala nung fever ko. Pero I made some pieces na lang. So this one that was made during that time. Kasi very depressing yung thoughts ko. Merong mga lumilipad dyan na creatures on top ng skeletal na figures. Kasi nga yung death, it's just around. Hindi natin alam kung kailan dadating sa'yo. So pwedeng any minute, ikaw na yung kasunod. And then another one, this was very prophetic kasi all of the figures on that artwork are my family. Sa family pictures ko yan kinuha. Then one of my subjects there, my aunt, she died due to COVID din. So medyo may pagka-prophetic nga doon. And then ito na, simula na yung mga plantitas, di ba? So instead of growing ornamentals, sabi ko edibles naman ngayon. So I tried to I saw a YouTube segment on that. Tapos sabi ko, mag-grow ka ng sweet potato. And then I noticed that the leaves, yung movement ng leaves, para siyang creature na lumalabas sa bottle. And I was obsessed with the Victorian age, 'di ba? Yung meron silang cabinets of curiosities. Yung tinatawag na pickled punks, yung nasa loob ng bote, yung mga fetuses or deformed creatures, and then they try to preserve it. So I imagined that I imagined that the creatures inside are trying to go out na they are going to seek revenge na.
Ayun pala yung tawag doon, pickled punks.
Yeah, ang cute no? Ang cute ng term. Ang cute ng term.
Ang cute ng term, pero sa personal,
nakakatakot. So I wanted to do something scary din. Kasi doon paranoid tayo, 'di ba? Sabi galing sa bats, galing sa yung itong animal na to, pangolin. So those are my subjects. Na saan kaya galing 'yon? So I tried to make them scary, pero sabi nila ang cute daw. Ang cute daw eh. So mali. So these are all in ink na pens na very small na 0.005 yata bawat isa, yung point niya. So these are all the creatures trying to get out of the bottles. Ang title ko pa nga niya, Rise of the Pickled Punks, kasi sila yung magre-revenge
Okay.
sila.
Ito
Kaya
may
nga
baby
cute.
pa.
Lalo yung octopus ang cute-cute eh. They're supposed to be scary nga. So marami akong pictures ng bottles. Ang ginawa ko yun, marami akong reference materials. Nag-ano lang ako sa internet. And then, sabi ko, what if I do it in a painting naman? Ano kayang magandang tignan? So, na-inspire ako yung distilled spirits na word. Diba distilled spirits, mga yan, liquor, mga alak. Pero sabi ko, what if instead of animals ang nasa loob ng bottles? What if animals, I mean humans ang nasa loob ng bottles? So, our spirits were, like that. Yung theme niya, depression. So, the spirit there is of, a woman na depressed siya. Pero also with the creatures around it. Kasi parang din, parang aquarium din yung dating niya ginawa ko. And then the second one, Paranoia naman yan, title niyan. Yan naman mga land creatures naman yan.
Ang ganda.
So you can still see my favorite subjects. Iba yung series niya, pero yung favorite subjects ko, and then yung linear forms, yung mga lines ko nandiyan pa rin. Consistent pa rin.
Present pa rin talaga yung mga animals and yung plants pa rin.
And then this is for another exhibit. It's on November 22 yung opening in Imahika Gallery. It's a new gallery along Shaw Boulevard. Yung Lee Gardens. Yung Lee Gardens na building doon.
This month? This month?
Yeah, 22.
Yes. Invite mo naman on Flor yung mga
Punta kayo? Gusto niya? Punta kayo. Pero actually, na lang kayo, ibang day na lang kayong pumunta. Kasi nakaschedule yata. Nakaschedule yung kung sinong pwedeng pumunta. I'll ask na lang the gallery when they... Pero after the opening naman, they can go there anytime na eh. Just, not during 21 tsaka 22 kasi yan yung main na opening. So there will be a lot of visitors. Baka i-limit nila yung walk-in visitors.
Anyway, Ma'am Flor, hanggang next month pa naman yun, di ba?
Yeah.
December pa. 1 month siya.
Usually, ngayon yung mga exhibits matagal talaga kasi may yung kailangang i-limit yung makakapasok.
May capacity din ng tao. So, na-extend nila yung days.
Kasi dapat 2 weeks yung yung time ng exhibit. Ngayon yung iba 1 month na. So I think yan vivariums are terrariums na tirahan ng mga small animals like lizards, yung mga chameleon. 'Di ba diyan sila yung ginagaya yung sarili nilang habitat. So sa during the pandemic, I made a lot of cuttings na naman from wallpaper magazines. Ang dami ko niyan. Yan yung pinakamarami kong magazine. And then interior tsaka architectural design magazines. Kasi ang iniisip ko, baliktad na ngayon. Yung animals, nasa labas, tayo nasa loob na. So they're looking at us na. So yung mga furnitures, ilalagay ko sa loob ng vivarium, and then sila na yung titingin sa tao. So, yung first na ginawa ko, this is how I am doing it. Bale, the cutouts are on my left, and then those are my reference. So they're big ha, they're 3 feet by 4 feet yung size niya. Then this is my first work. The title is All Dressed Up. All dressed up but nowhere to go. Yung niya, yung subject niya is about yung it girl siya na mahilig sa party, and then
party girl.
party girl. Pero nasa throne siya. And then she's all dressed up pero hindi siya makalabas. And then imbes na silver spoon, kasi pag sinabi mo anak mayaman, may silver spoon, sa kanya naman golden. And then there's may clock to symbolize yung time na ginugol being quarantined. Also a cage. So this one, yung mga mahilig sa travel, it's about traveling, yung frustration mo na gusto mo na mag-travel. No. And then yung male dyan, siya, kamukha ni Seth Rogen yung na-cut out ko eh. Pero nung nagpe-paint na ako, nanonood ako ng kay Meghan siya kay Meghan Markle siya kay Prince Harry. Kaya nung pinaint ko, medyo kahawig na. Mamaya makikita natin.
Naiba na. Oo nga, no?
Ano yung nasa taas, Flor? Yung nasa top left? Sketch yun. Tapos etong malaki.
Hindi, cut out yan. Cut out.
From magazines.
Okay.
From magazines.
Ito, nakuha niyo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the final piece, yan yung all dressed up. Nasa loob siya ng terrarium, may sarili siyang cage. And then, yan yung second. Yan nga, naging kamukha na siya ni Prince Harry. So what you listen to and what you are watching, magre-reflect din pala yan in your work. Noon ko lang na-realize yan.
Parang naging compilation na rin during your process na pag-create ng art na yun. Present pa rin yung mga nakikita mo in your surroundings.
Excuse me. Yan naman, yung mga mahilig sa TikTok, dance of the cage birds ang tawag dyan. So, di ba meron, may mga, sa zoo may mga cage, yung mga aviary, yung mga birds. Yan naman aviary din siya, pero colorful na dresses ng tao. And then they are dancing. So, ini-imagine ko yung mga animals ang nanonood na sa kanila. Yes, dance of the cage birds. Kahit na magkagulo-gulo sa bahay. And then, after the pandemic, I was imagining what would the world be like kung after the pandemic. And then, meron pa yung mga vaccination, di ba? Sabi nila, ibahin yung DNA. So, ini-imagine ko na after we get out from this pandemic, anong mangyayari. But these are just, I made studies of that one. I think, natapos ko na 70 pieces na study. Kasi, nag-cut out na naman ako. Ay, by the way, this was, yan, mga magnets ko yan sa ref. Yung sa Pizza Hut yan. Pizza Hut yung isa yung 7777. Tapos nakita ko parang ear. So it's shaped like an ear. Kaya nagpaint ako ng ear. Tapos nakita ko may round na mga magnets. Pininturahan ko din. So lahat na ng magnets nun may pintura. And then para siyang Mr. Potato Head, di ba? And then dyan ko kinuha na. So yung karamihan ng reference ko dyan from National Geographic tsaka architectural magazines. Then I cut out the different parts of the body. And then I incorporated things that we are obsessed with, like sa furnishings, our bags, shoes. And then that's it. So for that one, may canvas nang naka-ready dito. So that's for my next exhibit. But these are my new exhibits for now. For the first one, that's Sketchpad. That's hosted by our gallery. So our physical gallery is closed, the Art of Pintura Gallery, but we are now online. So this is our first online show. Sketchpad is about drawings of artists. Kaya nakalagay dyan the labyrinth of an artist's mind. Because we want to see what the artists are thinking eh. Yung hindi edited, yung raw yung dating ng drawings. So yung imagination nila makikita mo dyan. Also their conscious and unconscious thoughts. So these are my works for that. They're all done using acrylic ink on paper, watercolor paper. So I did not use any pencil to for the outline. Dire-diretso na yan. All ink, ink na kaagad yan, dire-diretso, ink and brush. So, mga parang rough sketches lang din yan.
Parang siyang formation ng mga tao.
Yes.
Actually,
dalawang ano yan, series yan. So, our first series is corpse flower and monkey cups. Yung corpse flower is the biggest flower in the world. Pero tinawag siyang corpse flower because it smells of a dead person. Parang rotting meat. It smells like a rotting meat. That's to attract the prey, usually insects or tiny animals. So that's the biggest flower or inflorescence kasi it's a group of flowers pala. And then the monkey cups are pitcher plants. Yun yung term nila. Another term for pitcher plants. And that one, so I was watching the documentary by David Attenborough, and then he said that the brain of the plants are the roots, and then the flowers, of course, are the reproductive system. So I imagine the world where the people are plants. So the title of this one is If Humans Were Plants. So yan ang magiging itsura natin kung naging plants tayo. So it's an upside down world.
Mm-hmm. Yung ulo yung sa roots. Galing ng analogy.
So this is our one of the two pieces of my distilled spirits are here. Yung sinasabi kong show sa Imahika. Imagus yung title. And then this is during the setup of the gallery. Those are my two pieces. Then next, we have the Mandala Tessellation. It's kagrupo ko yung mga UP students, and so it's going to be held at the UP Toyota, November 23 yung start niya, up to 29. So it's composed of three galleries. I'm the one who's curating. This the whole show. May co-curator din ako, si Cathy Lasam. And then these are going to they're going to bring the exhibit to Iran. Iraq pala, Iraq. Mesopotamia, Iraq next year.
Mm. And then ilang pieces of collections you present in this?
I think 100. I think 100 pieces, I think. Kasi 2 to 4 pieces yung gagawin ng bawat artist. And I think may mga 20 artists yata.
Sayang, sa November 23 to 29 lang.
We have virtual gallery din.
Oh, alright.
Para makita nyo din. Kasi they're very strict din, yung UP Toyota. Sa they have to, after opening it, i-clean up na naman nila yung buong area. Kaya limited din yung pwedeng mag-visit. But you can see, those are my while in progress works. Ayan, nasa likod ko ngayon. Tinatapos kasi tomorrow na yung deadline.
So, yan yung favorite natin, Anelle, mandala.
Oo. Pero ang hirap pa, mandala. Kasi everyone has to be equally done. And without freehand ako, ang hirap ng walang guide talaga. So ruler lang at saka compass ang gamit ko dyan. Everything is done by freehand. Kaya ang hirap. You need discipline, a lot of discipline in doing that.
Yes. Tapos dapat makipa sa measurement dito.
Nakagawa ka na?
Yes po.
Ang hirap.
Ang gigigil.
Medyo may pagkamasokista no? Talagang pahihirapan yung sarili.
Oo, lalabo talaga yung mata mo dito. Pero, maganda kasi sa kanya, yung paunti-unting nagbo-blossom yung art mo sa parang habang ano siya, tumatagal, lumalaki siya. Tapos mas ano yung mga details kasi since sobrang liit niya, mas meticulous yung ganun. Sige, saka na natin pag-usapan. Na-excite ako.
But, it's inspired by sacred geometry. Yun lang sasabihin ko, yung ginawa ko. So, these are my jewelry design works, di ba? So, in jewelry design making, first, by October pa lang, gumagawa na ako ng what do you call that? Trend. I'm going to set a trend for the jewelry designs of our company. So, magre-research ako architecture, lifestyle, fashion, everything else para i-try ko i-predict kung ano magiging trend for the next year. So, what I do, I make some stories and then make drawings of jewelries out of those stories and then I present them to my boss. And then he, mag-a-approve siya kung ano ila-launch namin na collection for the next year. So, Rappaccini's Daughter, nakita niya naman, I did, di ba, a series in paintings. Pero, way before that, that's in 2003, I think, nakagawa na ako ng team na Rappaccini's Daughter. So, this is my vision board for that. Creating stories for jewelry design. So, those are my works for Rappaccini's Daughter. Yung theme talaga niya, death and beauty, flowers and venomous na animals. The one on the left, yung venomous animals niya are the snakes, and the one on the right are spiders. Yung legs ng spiders, yun yung sa band. It's like the whole spider is nagra-wrap siya sa finger mo.
Wow.
And then, the next one is spider, flower, rose naman siya. The serpent, may story siya, the serpent and the rose. So, those are just design, hindi pa yan yung final na Kumbaga sa fashion show, you're going to launch a whole collection. Yung haute couture yet pa lang yan, yung pinaka-wild. And then, we're going to tame it down for the local market na. Yung saleable, yung wearable, ganun. Pero at least, yung impact na inspiration, it's there. So, those naman parang, it's in black, yung flower. Kasi there's black gold So, gusto ko black gold yung gamitin dyan. And then, primary colors ulit. Then this one, yung story niya, archives, or what you can see sa museum. So, inspirations ko dyan, yung different cultures around the world. So, merong tattoos, tsaka mask, and then yung mga accessories ng mga ethnic na tribes. So, these are my pieces for that one. Very quick drawings lang din yan. So, ang gagawin ng boss ko, kukunin niya yung, mag-approve siya ng design, and then he's going to tame it down na yung right lang na size, yung right na price, and then yung scale, tsaka yung wearability. Kasi medyo hindi practical yung mga pinagagawa ko. Kasi nga, right from the inspiration parang yung pinaka-raw na raw element pa lang yun.
Pag tinatone down yung design nyo para dun sa output mismo, ano yung mga usually elements na natitira?
Ando pa naman yung mga important elements. It's just a bit smaller. Tapos yung mga existing na material, like yung existing na diamond sa sa stock or yung colored stones. And then titignan niya kung sa physics kung medyo babaliktad ba to or what. Kasi yung boss ko si Mr. Hans Bruman, he's a Swiss German jeweler. So very siya. Very precise dapat yung gawa mo. Yan, those are the masks. That's very popular Nakailang version na kami nan.
Really? Ang cute nga niya.
And the one on the bottom, parang, yan yung nasa ano sa storyboard ko. Yung nasa right side
Mukhang
na bottom.
mapapabili ako
Mura lang yan. Pinakamura parang mga 250,000 yan.
Magkano man, Flor?
250,000.
Grabe. Kasi dahil sa materials din.
Kasi diamonds and colored stones. Medyo may pagka high-end kasi si Mr. Brewman. I've been working for him since 2000 yata.
Oh.
Year
Nga
2000.
pala ng Flor, mas nauna kayo sa career ng jewelry.
Yes. I was just a student when I went into jewelry design. So, I won a few awards years ago. And then, naging boss ko si Sir. So, my works, kaya nga medyo detailed yung works ko. Kasi, nga siya, Swiss German, bawat it has to be precise. Yung 1 millimeter, he divides it into 10 pa. Kaya dapat exact. Kaya yung kung medyo controlled din yung drawings ko. So, this series, kasi naisip ko, pag naubusan ako ng inspiration, what do I do? So, I tried, yung dream, from my dream. So, after waking up from a nap, the first drawings muna. After waking up, tip ko lang yan for those who are, may creative block. So, ang ko lang sa inyo, you just try it, no? After taking a nap, you have to be, you have to have a pen or small paper, with you. Then pagka wake up mo, drawing mo lang kung anong naisip mo agad. And then I have a lot of that, parang 1/4 size lang siya. And then from there, I could create different, designs. Again, may pagka weird, may pagka impractical, but I think mas important yung makuha mo yung yung feel nung nung design.
Grabe ng Flor, masokista nga kayo pagkagising pa lang.
No, kasi may nabasa akong ganyan to yung creative block mo. Just try doing that daw. Marami nga akong nagawa. I think 500 yung nagawa akong ganyan.
500?
Drawings.
Grabe.
Wala magawa, Hindi, mabilis lang kasi yan Ilang minutes lang nun. These are naman, may fantasy pieces din. Yung iba nagawa, yung iba hindi. So, these are done using water.
Flor, nag-cut off lang kayo? Flor?
Sorry, nawala yung sounds. May tumawag ata na din. Tumawag ba?
Ayun! Ayun, nag-lowbat. Natanggal yung, naka-charge kasi. Hello?
Ayan, okay naman, Flor. Okay. Nag-cut off kayo dito.
Nag-lowbat siya. So, those are the glaciers, yung pinag-usapan natin the other day. Nagbe-melt yung glaciers natin, then, kaya baha-baha na. So, on the right side naman, yung title niya, Minuet. Minuet meaning, dalawang tao nagsasayaw. So, imagine ko those two pearls are dancing and then the lines they made are the movements that they're making. So, medyo, graceful siya. And then that one is bubbles. Ini-imagine ko na may nagfo-float yung bubbles. And then the one on the right, Luna, meaning moon. I tried to create a different phases of the moon. So may quarter moon, may full moon. So the one on the left is golden harvest. Parang mga palay yan, di ba? Pag nag-harvest ng palay. So Anelle was asking me if I could show some pieces, actual pieces that I designed. So this is for Noli Me Tangere rin na musical in CCP. So this was inspired by that. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Akala ko nagsira naman. So this was inspired by the musical. So my favorite piece was the one on the upper left. That's Mi Ultimo Adios, inspired by the table. Kunyari last time na nagsulat si Jose Rizal, di ba? Sinulat niya yung poem. So it's a table na may tablecloth, and then may paper, and then yung feather, yung quill, and then may ink din siya.
Ang galing. Ito na lang kaya wedding ring ko.
That's sold na. One of the pieces na that were sold. So the one on the left is yung azotea. Ay hindi, the heart is Teodora pala, yung mother ni Rizal yan. Gusto ko black kasi not because of she has a black heart. Pero nung nabulag siya, di ba? She got blind. So yun yung she got blind kasi. So the one on the left, yung azotea naman. Yun yung dalawang lovers. And then the right side naman, retablo. Parang yung mga pictures nung unang panahon.
Ang galing.
That's made using, sabi ko kay sir, anong materials ang available for that series? Tapos sabi niya, yun nga, yung pearls lang daw, and then different kinds of wood, tsaka onyx. Onyx yung black na material. So you have to do with that material. So nag-isip ako kung paano incorporate yung material sa design. So you have to work around the materials also. Not only with the story. So the next piece, that's azotea naman. Yung nagtatampuhan yata sila sa azotea. I love that scene kasi parang silhouette lang yan eh. And then I was inspired also by the different lovers of Rizal. So nandyan lahat, nilagay ko lahat ng lovers niya. So the first one is Consuelo. That's the one with the fan. And that one, si Josephine and Gertrude. Yan naman, si Consuelo. Kita mo ang dami. Ilan ba yung lovers ni Rizal?
How much to, Ma'am Flor? Yung isang piece?
Yun nga, yung pinaka mura lang dyan. Siguro yung earrings, mga 150,000. So,
oh my God.
Yung mga pendants, siguro mga 200 to 300. Depende kung gaano karami yung diamond. Minsan mga 400,000.
Mahal pala. Kala ko naman.
Yung pagka high-end kasi si sir. Kasi, international quality yung, yung standard ng craftsmanship.
Yes.
Ang nag-train actually, I did some bench work ha. Nag-try akong mag-goldsmith for about a month. Tapos, yung mga ginagawa nilang training for the goldsmith, I tried that. Kasi, to know more about making a design, hindi ka pwedeng from imagination lang lagi. You have to know if it's doable then. And then you have to know then if the platero says, we cannot do this because of this and that. Tapos sasabihin ko, no, I made something like that and then it worked naman. But after that, they respected me ha. Kasi grabe hirap nung it's very hard yung training na ginawa namin. And then yung materials namin, hindi lang siya gold. Gold is very soft. Yung ginamit namin brass, one of the hardest na metal. So nanigas talaga yung kamay ko. Hindi ako nakapag-draw ng one month.
Oh. Okay.
So the next one, furniture design din kasi ano yan, home ano ba tawag dyan? Parang practical na naman designs for the home. Furniture designs. So, it's a collaboration with Mr. Hans Bruman, that's my boss. Yan yung sa gallery niya, sa Gallery Hans Bruman. That was located in Greenbelt 5 before, pero ngayon nasa na siya, sa Legazpi Village na siya. So, yung the one with the boxes, yan, that's inspired by Roxelana, the favorite consort of Sulaiman the Great. Pero ganun nga, if you are inspired, just pick something that you can focus on from that inspiration or from that one, the culture, yung tessellation or yung tiling ng mga mosques sa Ottoman Kingdom. Doon lang ako nag-focus, and then you build and evolve from it. Yung gumawa ka ng maraming series or stories from it. So, yan lang. Yung inspiration ko malaki, pero I just focused on one thing. So, this one naman, silhouettes yung theme ko niyan. Yung for the lamp. Quartus naman, I think nag-cut out ako niyan. And then, yung medyo cardboards. And then, I try to do some construction sa cardboards. What will happen if I do this or I do that? Tapos, yan, I created a pencil holder and a fruit bowl. Mas malaki lang yung pencil holder, dapat mas maliit. Excuse me.
Ang ganda na ito pang office.
Oo, ano yan, from Tangile at saka Nara.
Baka naman, Ma'am Flor.
wala na, tagal na dyan, at 2015 pa I think, wala na nabenta na lahat. So, finding inspiration. So, ano na natin, mag-recap na tayo. So, number 1, tips on finding inspirations. Follow your obsessions. Like for me, you just identify what you are passionate about and then follow it. So, number 2, find inspiration in everyday life, experiences, people that you meet, everyday objects, and events that made an impression on you. For me, that's where I grew up in. Tapos, like the one where I was in the hospital, yung nagbabantay ako. Yun yung events. Number 3, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade or tequila shots. Yung mga mahilig mag-party dyan, or tequila shots. So, if you're dealt with something na limit yung creativity mo, make it work for you. Like for me, di ba yung ako sa yung room ko, walang ventilation and I couldn't paint with oil. So, I tried a new media. And then, yun na yung ginamit ko ngayon. Medium ngayon, di ba, yung ink drawings. So, number 4, create happy little accidents in your art making. Yung happy little accidents, yun yung sabi from Bob Ross yan, yung painter na by working and working by drawing and drawing, painting and painting, minsan may accident kang nangyari, like tatapon mo yung ink, and then sabihin mo, oh, this is a good pattern. So, those accidents, give you a new technique or, pointed you in a different directions. So, happy little accidents. Nila ko yung art making, kasi baka yung ibang dyan, mga arsonist baka accidents lang yung makita nila dyan. So, sunod, be with your own tribe, support each other. By the word tribe, meaning yung mga kapwa mo artist. Kasi you know each other you know what you're going through. So you try to support each other. And also, if you're together, you can bounce off different ideas from each other. Yun ang maganda, may mga collaboration nangyayari. Or may magsasabi, oy, mas maganda yung ganitong material. So you try to support each other. So number 6, read or watch movies and documentaries. Yan, that one, they really worked for me. Kasi nga, ang dami mong makikita sa themes or stories from watching or reading. Tapos number 7, be curious. Be like a child. Sabi nga ni Picasso, di ba, parang a child is an artist until he grows up ba yun? So, be like a child na pag may nakita mo, look at it with wonderment ba? Try to learn what it is, yung mga possibilities nung makikita mo doon. And then, number 8, of course, yan yung pinaka-important, work. Wala mangyayari kung wala. You have to, start working. Wala mangyayari kung isip ka lang ng isip. And then, later on, lalabas na din yung inspiration mo. Most important thing is, wag mo nang i-filter mo muna sarili mo. If you have, a room in your house na walang internet, doon ka magtago. Yun ang gawin mong studio para walang magulo. Naki-filter ka. So, sunod. So, what's next? After you found your inspiration, ano pa yung mga tips na pwede kong ibigay? KISS. Yan yung laging sinasabi sa amin ng mga professor namin sa design school. KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Learn to simplify the message of your work. Do not try to show different ideas in one work. Kasi may nakikita ako dyan na ibang artist na so many elements taken from different inspiration. Nagkagulo-gulo na to. Mukhang chop suey yung work nila. And then yung viewer, talagang malilito kung ano yung message mo. So, try to keep it simple. Simplify the message, but the composition, kung gusto mo minimalism, if you want it to be maximalism, that's up to you. But the message must always be simple. So, you may add a certain twist or final bold strokes. This is for the yung bold strokes, yung mga expressive na painters. Kasi meron talaga silang ginagawa na guguluhin nila or may pang final strokes na it gives you certain yung X quality ng work doon makikita. So, number 2. So, number 2, follow your own vision, learn how to filter, and this one works for me. I don't know if it's going to work for you. Pero while I am doing my series, I try not to go to art exhibits and art fairs. Kasi mamaya ginagawa mo dyan and then you see another artwork na gustuhan mo, yun na yung gagawin mo. And then may nakita ka na naman, yun na yung gagawin mo. So, concentrate ka muna sa work mo. Kung medyo na-frustrate ka, yan, medyo lumabas ka na, tumingin ka na. Pero as much as possible, learn how to filter. So, number 3, pick a part that resonates with you most. Ano yung saan ka talaga tinamaan, yun yung mga ng mga artist. Then mag-focus ka doon, concentrate. Too many elements from your inspiration may overwhelm or your work or you. Kaya nga, baka pati ikaw malito sa sobrang daming inspiration. So, yun nga yung sabi ko, mag-concentrate ka lang. Parang yung ginawa ko sa Roxelana, one part of the tile lang yung ginamit ko to keep me inspired. And then, expand. So, number 4, create a story in your artwork. This one works para sa media din, ginagamit din nila to, di ba? Yung create a story around the product. This time naman, create a story around your artwork. Stories are great in expanding your imagination. And that's for you, para lumawak yung may isip mo for your work. And also for the viewers, it creates a connection between them and the artwork and the viewers. Kasi parang na-internalize nila yung message mo. Tapos, and then, mag-share na sila ng ibang, pag nakita nila, i-share naman nila yung ang tawag doon, yung perception nila kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng artwork mo. And then, may personal connection na sila sa work. That is not, hindi ko sinabi para bilhin ng viewer, but for the viewer to appreciate it more. And then, yun, pinaka-last, work. Back to the drawing board na naman. Yan, pinaka-importante. Tama mo na yung TikTok and FB. Malaking distraction yan. Okay, so that's it for now. Ilang hours na ba tayo? Tagal din pala.
Almost 2 hours and 20 minutes na.
Sabi ko sa'yo, dadaanin natin sa picture. kasi hindi ako sanay sa art talk eh. Pero pag ganito, parang nag-uusap lang kayo. Mas okay.
Nagustuhan nga namin yung vibe na yun ng seminar or yung workshop namin kasi besides dun sa interaction natin, parang art gallery, virtual art gallery yung nangyari. So, you walk us through dun sa lahat ng lahat ng works nyo. Tapos, syempre pag nag-visit kasi tayo ng art gallery, nakikita lang natin yung mga pieces. Tapos, parang wala naman time syempre yung mga artists i-explain yun. So, parang mas engaging to kasi na-explain niyo siya kung paano, yung all throughout dun, kung saan yung inspiration niyo and then kung paano yung process, how you came up with that ideas, ganun. So, ayun, very helpful siya for artists and dito sa mga audience natin. So, if you guys have any questions, you can turn on your mic and ask Miss Flor.
May natitira pa ba?
Meron pa. Mga buhay pa dito. Ako na lang, Miss Flor. May first question ako. So, ano yung mga struggles that you have encountered throughout your process?
Number one, yung financially. So, kasi, di ba nung panahon, pag sinabi mong you're going to pursue art, sasabihin ng magulang mo, hindi ka naman magkakapera dyan. So, I was, naririnig nyo? Can you hear me? Okay. So, sisira kasi yung mic. So, I wanted to go into, into painting, pero my father said that, it's better if I took up advertising. Then, what I did was, I took up interior design. Pero my passion for painting is still there. So, nung may family na ako, you have to work talaga. So, ang advice ko sa mga, sa mga painters dyan, this one works for me, ha? Don't quit your day job. Or find another, source of income. Kasi, if you do your art to sell them, walang mangyayari sa'yo. Kasi you're going to pander to the buyer, to the wants of the buyer. So, how to, yung hindi ka ma-influence ng ibang, yung financially ng ibang tao. Marami naman ngayong di ba? Lalo ng pandemic, marami mga racket na nangyayari. Di ba?
Marami naman dyan kasi lalo na ngayon, napakana ng technology. So, there are other ways to engage your designs or art in the internet. May question pa ako, Ma'am Flor. Kasi very present yung mga animals and natures dun sa designs nyo. But if you are given a day to pursue another obsession, what would that be?
Actually, napupursue ka naman yung sa plants. Kasi if they're asking where I live, sasabihin ko lang, tignan mo lang dyan yung pinakamaraming tanim. Kasi our balcony is overflowing now with plants. I don't know what to do with them. So something to do with botany.
Okay.
Hi po.
Ayan, si Gina. May. Go,
Hi,
Gina.
hi Miss
Hi,
Flor.
Jen. Hi, Jenna.
Hello po. So, my question is, sa tinagal-tagal po na nagpe-painting kayo or nagdo-drawing kayo, what do you think was the most beautiful among your artwork or the
Naku,
most meaningful one?
it's like saying that who's your favorite son or daughter. Ang hirap
Eh,
ano. Ang hirap. Um, I think hindi. Sa atin lang to. Yung Rappaccini's Garden. Secret. Baka magselos yung iba eh. Rappaccini's Garden. Kasi noon pa yan, obsessed na ako dyan, di ba? Ano pa. First time na rin nabasa ko.
Okay.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Gina.
So, iba pang challenges. Hindi naman sa akin, pero sa ibang artist, yung pag nakikita nilang medyo umaangat na yung ibang artist na, let's say, mas younger pa sa kanila or mas junior pa. So, ang payo ko dyan, um, envy kills your work. Ibig sabihin, envy kills your work. Naapektuhan yung work mo nung pag nainggit ka. So, magiging parang negative ang dating. Negative yung lalabas eh. And then, frustrate ka lang na frustrate. And it's not going to do anything good talaga. So, try to be happy for them na lang. And then, work.
Yes, don't be distracted. Gawin nyo na lang siyang inspiration. And tama nga yung ano nyo kanina ng Flor, yung sa tribe. Yan.
Be with your own tribe.
Yes.
Collaborate. And then also, pag may nag-comment naman sa'yo na bakit ganito yung ginawa niya, ang pangit naman ang gawa niya, learn to grow a thick skin. Kailangan medyo makapal ka din. Hindi bawat may mag-comment na hindi ka na, ayaw ko na, hindi na lang ako mag-paint. Kasi if that's really your passion, tuloy mo lang kasi din yan eh, it's hindi may kanya-kanyang opinion din bawat tao eh. So, lalo na sa arts, kanya-kanyang preference yan eh. So, maybe you were just talking to the wrong person na walang alam about arts. So, huwag masyadong papansinin yung sinasabi ng ibang tao.
Yes, take criticism na lang din as inspiration on how you will grow. Kasi, ayun nga, baka mamaya yung nakikita ng iba, pwede mo siyang gamitin in improving your work.
Oo, pero try to learn naman kung may alam din sa arts yung nagsasalita. Kung art critic, syempre, medyo internalize mo ng konti, no? Baka medyo, pangit yung gawa mo. Pero, tignan mo din kung sinong nagsalita.
Grabe naman ng Flor. May mga nanggaganon sa inyo.
Oo, marami. Lalo na pag sa Facebook, kasi naman, hindi, sa work ko wala pa naman. Pero sa iba, meron nagko-comment. Ibinabash nila. Pero syempre, kailangan talaga Meron din ibang artist na siguro nainggit lang, kaya ganun yung comment. Pero, pakapalan lang yan. Kapalan mo lang ng konti yung mukha mo. Pero from your professor or pag medyo may alam na sa arts, medyo tignan mo nga kung may problema yung gawa mo.
Tama. How about the others? Baka may question pa kayo kay Ma'am Flor. Mukhang wala na, baka gutom na sa bagoy.
Tagal din natin.
Dinner
tagal
time.
din ako. Oo, magsasampay pa ako, naglalabaw kanina.
Eto, CJM, may question.
May tips pa ba sa pagdodrawing ng kamay? Gawin mo ng stick bawat isa. And then bawat joint gawin mong points. And then, wag mong bibiglain, wag mo muna lagyan ng laman. I mean, start ka sa stick drawing. Then yung points, pag-aralan mo kung saan pupunta yung location ng bawat isa. After nakagawa ka ng stick drawing, gawin mong box drawing. Tapos yung box, i-refine mo na lang yun para maging, i-round mo na lang na konti para magmukhang fingers.
Buti na lang natanong ni JM yun.
Kasi parang, dito, ito parang triangle to, ito. And then, lagyan mo na stick. And then, bawat joint, tandaan mo kung anong location nila and then yung movement nila.
No.
Wala, si Anelle nakakuha.
Thanks, Ma'am Flor.
Ini-imagine niya.
Imagine nyo kasi muna yung yung skeleton. Yung skeleton muna. Wag nyo muna lagyan ng laman kasi malilito pa talaga kayo. Then, gumawa ka din ng 200 plus na drawings. Sigurado matututo ka na din. Oy, sabi nga daw nila, yung ibang art critics, sabi nila, makikita daw kung magaling ang isang artist if okay yung paint ng kamay or pagka-draw ng kamay. Minsan yun ang basis nila.
Okay, Ma'am Flor. Yung mga art gallery nyo na upcoming, pwede nyo siyang i-plug now.
Please, watch our, virtual gallery. It opens on November 22 at 10 a.m. So, I'm going to share the link. It's Arte Pintura Gallery, or also Arte Pintura Manila, and also we have an IG account. It's Arte Pintura Manila also. So, doon yung makikita yung link. I-share namin on November 22. Ay, hindi, November 14. I'm sorry. And then for November 22 pala, that's the mandala exhibit in UP Diliman, UP Toyota. And then the third one is the Imahika Gallery. That's along Shaw Boulevard. Yan naman, November 20 naman. So, tatlong exhibits yung... Kaya ako nalilito 14, 20, 22.
Tatlo pala magkakasunod. Sige, send nyo sa amin ng Flor, then share namin sa group. Especially dun sa FB page namin and sa group na Work Connection PH. Share namin. Join din kayo, Ma'am Flor.
Sige.
Kayo ng ibang artist doon. And then, yes, these are our social media accounts. You guys can follow us for the upcoming skill brewing. Our next skill brewing is about food photography naman. So, Ma'am Flor, I'll invite you then doon.
Yes, please.
Good siya kasi it brings color to the food. Parang aesthetic. It's more on the styling of photo shoot ng food. So, yun. Marami din tayong matututunan doon. Invite namin kayo, Ma'am Flor, on that day.
Sure. Kailan yan?
Next Thursday din.
Okay. So, every Thursday kayo?
Yes po. Okay. Thank you so much, guys, for staying with us. Naka 2 hours and 30 minutes na tayo. But that's great kasi ang dami naming nakuha inspiration from Ma'am Flor here. And if you guys have any suggestions and questions, you can always message or DM na rin dun sa Work Connection PH. Mag-post dun si Ma'am Flor ng mga links niya.
Thank you, Joanna. Si Joanna, I think. She learned a lot daw. Mabuti naman.
Thanks, Joanna.
Hello po, thank you po.
Even si Ruth daw.
Thank you, Ruth. And Jenna.
Po kami sa na makapag-appreciate lalo ng art. Mga gawan.
Thank you, guys.
Maria Aliana and si John. Thank you din.
Thank you. Good evening, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.